A lot of snow in summer. That's the gray stuff back there against the fence. And then there's arugula mixed in here with something called Egyptian walking onions. But they're not feeling the best due to the fact we've had 100+ temperatures for a week and a half or two. This is, there are strawberries in there that didn't produce this year. My only remaining raspberry bush, and in the back there, this particular one here, is called a Haskap berry. The raspberries didn't do very well. I had about 9 plants. All of them succumbed to the last snap frost that we had after we had an early spring. More strawberries. They're either the squirrels ate them all, or I don't know what happened to them. In here we've got a couple of tomato plants and some, I can't remember what it's called, but it tastes like celery. Lovage, that's what it's called, and it's quite yummy. The pink flowers there that you see that I'm just hitting with the water right now, those are radishes that because of the heat bolted and are now not edible, so I'm kind of letting them go to seed. Carrots didn't survive the bolt of heat, except for I've got 3 of them. These are my beets, which are also quite fried from the snow. I mean, not the snow, from the heat. And then I've got a wide range of squash here. Not really sure exactly what it is. I think some of it's kiri squash, some of it's spaghetti squash, some of it's assorted other things. Some of it is volunteer squash. There's quite a bit of it. It goes on for 2 full beds. And then sticking up in the center there is some garlic that needs to be pulled this weekend. And more squash. Oops. There's a volunteer tomato plant down in there. I don't know if you can see that. There's a weed that'll get pulled this weekend, but there's more squash and more squash. I'm just trying to make sure everything gets good and wet because it's going to be 100 degrees Fahrenheit again today. There's a couple of squash flowers in there, so I'll get to find out exactly what it is we've got growing, or I've got growing. And then at the end here, we have a couple more Haskap bushes. Right there. Haskaps. There's 2 in there, a male and a female. The male, unfortunately, is the back one, the larger of the 2. It doesn't. It produces Haskap berries as well as the front one, but the front one has sweet Haskap berries, whereas the back one has kind of bitter Haskap. Haskaps are, I think they're from Newfoundland or from Saskatchewan, I'm not sure, and they're actually quite good for you. They're 100 times better than 100 times more antioxidants than blueberries. And then the neighbor, I don't know if you can see that, the neighbor has Concord grapes that are growing onto my side, and I'm allowed to eat what comes on my side, so I'm looking forward to that. I'll turn around here. The weeds are pretty prolific right now, and this was supposed to all be tomatoes, but as you can see, there's some tomatoes coming there. There's a lot of squash in there, and all of that grew out of, you can see it like this maybe, all of that grew out of the compost, which is pretty weird and interesting at the same time. And there's several types of squash, I think, in here. This one's actually taking off and trying to take over the world. It's coming off the trellis I stuck in there to try and stop it from running away. Oopsie. Feet are getting wet. You can see more tomatoes there. And I think if you look in here, you might be able to see some squash growing, but I'm not sure. Actually, maybe not. Who knows? Like I said, it's been hot. Not everything likes the heat. The squash is growing crazy because of it. But in here, we're supposed to be lots of tomatoes and some peppers, but I don't even know where the peppers are now. So this weekend, it's probably going to get cut back a bit because this is pretty ridiculous. There's a squash growing there. Don't even know what kind it is. Probably a spaghetti squash. There's my apple tree that was decimated last year and the year before and the year before that by deer before the fencing was put up. It's dropping apples right now because of the heat. Also not a cool thing, but I'm sure that the raccoons will be by to make sure that those apples don't go to waste in short order. I'm just giving this some more water. It's a lot of plant, needs a lot to drink. Not supposed to water squash on top, I know, but again, this plant wasn't even supposed to be here, so we'll let it have a drink, a good drink. And there's more tomato coming out the side. It's just like everywhere. This is I'll have to think about what that is. It's a butterfly plant anyway, and they really like it. Makes some pretty flowers. It's the same thing that you put in Earl Grey tea, which is the name is escaping me. Here's another volunteer squash. That's my neighbor's pool and deck. Isn't that gorgeous? So this was all supposed to be peppers, and again, a squash came and took over. The pretty yellow flowers right there are loofah, and there's a couple of pepper plants in there as well. And more peppers there. The yard is quite messy, but you can see down the hill there is a lot of Russian sage. At the very bottom is the back deck for the basement suite, which is empty right now, and therefore I have weeds growing there. It's been too hot to really do any severe weeding on the weekend, so that'll be rounded up probably this weekend, I hope. Have to be careful though, because Miss Kitty likes to be involved in that. Oops, we'll turn the water off for a sec so we don't waste any. It's a seating area right there. My clothesline. Some basil that's been cooked. The beautiful light, I don't know if you can see it there, but it comes through gorgeous at night, along with a mushroom there, but there's this light here that was a beautiful gift from Sherry, and it's gorgeous at night. And then a bird that was a beautiful gift from Sherry that is also gorgeous all the time. And then these plants here, which have more of the Earl Grey leaf that I can't think of. It's bergamot, that's it. Yeah. And then up here I've got some herbs growing, some rosemary, oregano, and Thai basil. And then we get into the baskets, or the bins. This is all strawberries. As you can see, it's going quite well. In the center, I've got garlic growing, and it's doing pretty good too. It's almost time to pick it out. Need a couple more leaves to die off on the garlic plant first. There's a few strawberries that'll make for dinner's dessert tonight in here, providing the squirrels don't get them, because they really like my strawberries for some reason. And here we have more garlic, and in with the garlic is something called New Zealand spinach, which I really strongly suggest someone gets because it's prolific. It does not go to seed the same way that regular garlic does. Regular spinach does. And self-seeds and comes back the next year and creates a lovely little patch that will feed me all through the summer, feed everyone all through the summer. And even better yet, it dehydrates super well and is a fantastic addition to soups and you name it, as a dried element. Here we have nasturtiums, which the sun and the heat have not done well for. And we also have some chives there. This and all those pots over there are all dead raspberries from the cold frost that we had. More nasturtiums. As you can see, they're all quite burnt. Nasturtiums and the pink flowers there, which need to be deadheaded, will this weekend, if it's not too hot, are Nicotina, which have a lovely scent. And then of course we've got volunteer sunflowers that need a little drink too. That large plant there is a horseradish plant. More squash. These ones I'm going to try and water underneath so that they don't get yucky, but there's more squash. They're growing up as well. They're trying to, and these ones are supposed to be spaghetti squash, but I think there might be some some potato squash in here too, or baked potato squash, which is a white squash, and it's quite yummy. And of course another volunteer sunflower, which helps to bring the bees, and that's not a bad thing. There's a few squash in there. I don't know if you can see that. There's one growing on the bush over there. I'll just make sure everybody gets a good drink. And then we'll water from the other side too, I think. And as you can see, that's what I meant by it's all growing up. And through over here as well. So, and then this is my peas, which are kind of decimated from the heat. I think I'll pull them this weekend and maybe replant for the rest of the summer. Hopefully get some more. These are called cucamelons. And this is zucchini. Some of them are getting cooked. This is also zucchini, but it's a ball type zucchini. So we'll just make sure we get enough water in there for them for the day, because we can't have anybody going thirsty, or they won't survive very long at all. It really was a much better spring for them. They enjoyed the rain. More spinach in here. And there's some marigolds at the end that self-seeded from last year. And more sunflowers that self-seeded. Volunteer, I call them. And then my absolutely massacred flowers, which nasturtiums are actually edible too, and they make a lovely, colorful addition to your salads, and they're quite peppery tasting, which is nice. Okay, let's go down the next row. Yep, it's quite intense. Okay, let's get this over here. Hold on. The hose doesn't want to pretend correctly. Believe it or not, I have been doing a lot of weeding when it wasn't so hot. But with the heat, it makes it really difficult. So we'll just get the rest of this plants in here, which were the squashes with the volunteer. And as you can see, there's a couple of quite large spaghetti squash in there, which will be good keepers for the year, because they'll last me into the fall. And then more garlic, which is these ones are actually ready to pull, I think. A bunch of different types of green bean. A couple of them are growing up. Most of them are bush beans because they're easier to contain. Oh. More squash of unknown origin or type. Let's give them some good drink. Some beans, another cucamelon. Let's give this some water here. And over there is a bed of different lettuces and eggplant. The eggplant aren't doing very well yet. And in the corner there was an absolutely gorgeous chickpea plant that just got absolutely fried in the heat. So it's in the corner, hopefully not going to get as much water, or not as much heat, so that it can do a better job of growing or coming back, hopefully, but I don't know that it will because it's pretty cooked. And that's a romaine going to seed right there, which is okay because a little bit of seed never hurt anybody. We'll just get the rest of the... Oh, I didn't show you that. I can't pull this that far down, so we'll just give this another drink here. Like that. And head off back to the very edge there. Oh, and a really not doing well at all rhubarb plant because of the heat. Again, just cooked. Many things did not like this heat. The strawberries did, but not many things else. I'll just get the dirt into the spot it's supposed to be. Give this one more quick run over. Well, oopsie, it's stuck now. Hold on, have another look at the strawberries. Give the horseradish a drink. And I'll show you the one last thing here, and that's my collard greens, which I had covered, but they got too tall, and so the white moth got in at them anyway. But they're not that bad yet, so maybe this weekend I'll have a feast of collard greens with some bacon. Yum. So, that's how the garden grows. It's suffering quite a bit, but it's trying. These were, like I said, these empty pots were all Well, that was lavender, but these other ones were supposed to be raspberries. They didn't like the heat, or the cold that came so early when we thought we were going to have something else. Oops, sorry, showing you a mess. Anyway, have a great day. Bye.